Mind Performance Health back again. It is Monday the 16th of the 6th. We're back again with another MPH Weekly Live. Today is actually my birthday as well. I turn 35 today, which is pretty cool. So 35 years old. I've got a few greys, or a lot of greys in my beard and the side of my head now, so showing my age. But a pretty cool day. Kicked off, woke up in the morning, the kids were getting ready for school, had some coffee, and then got straight into work. Nothing crazy today. Got a great training session in, saw the team, saw clients, and then we're back today to do this weekly live. So pretty cool. Turning 35, 36 next year. But nonetheless, spending great quality time with the family as well. So that's been pretty cool. But today we're going to talk about how to control cravings while dieting and while in a fat loss or a weight loss phase. It was actually requested by Dinesh, one of our clients. Appreciate anyone who has feedback on what they wish to cover or wish for us to cover with workshops like this. So thank you, Dinesh. And what we're going to do is talk about strategies Hey, Amira, good to see you. I can see everyone jumping in now, but we're going to talk about strategies we use at Mind Performance Health, a bit of education as well, if you have weight loss goals, whether it's now or down the line, because cravings can be annoying, hunger can be annoying, and it can actually plateau your weight loss goals as you go through them. So we're going to cover a few strategies, and some you may have heard of, but possibly some you haven't. For instance, there was a time where within the last year where I actually didn't eat for 3 days. So I fasted for 3 days, and there was a particular method I did with both training and supplements and a few different things to limit hunger and cravings, which was pretty cool, which actually worked as well. So these methods I'm going to teach are done myself, what we use with clients. We've helped thousands of clients now over the last 10 years. And also, how we help our clients that are doing photo shoots, how we help clients that are doing physique competitions. These are tips and tricks we use no matter where you're at with your weight loss journey. Okay, so we're going to cover a few methods with that. What we're going to also run through is client wins. So I got a list here of client wins. Every Friday in our team meeting, I say, hey team, give us a win for the week with our clients. We have hundreds of clients, and each team member gives a win as well as myself. So for this week, I want to give a big shout out to Lena. Lena's a busy mother. She has lost 2% body fat in the last 4 weeks. Well done, Lena, and has improved her daily strength. So not just a weight loss or a fat loss goal, she also wanted to improve her strength. So big shout out to you, Lena. Great to see you in the gym the other day as well, putting in the work. Ned has lost 3% body fat in the last 6 weeks, which is awesome. Ned was touring around. He's a magician, but he's a musician. He's just come back from overseas. So great work, Ned. Keep it up with your health and fitness goals. Lachlan has lost 3 kilograms with his weight loss goal in his first week of the program. So within the last 7 days, Lach has lost 3 kilos, which is great. Vishwas has improved lower body strength and hitting new PBs on the back squat. So not just weight loss goals, not just fat loss or body composition goals. We also aim to improve strength with Mind Performance Health. So well done, Vishwas. Sheba has lost 20 kilograms with her weight loss goal thus far. It's great to see Sheba smashing this out. Big shout out to you, Sheba. Gabrielle is doing a physique competition, her first comp prep and her first bikini competition over the next few months. She has lost a 1/4 inch off her waist in the last 7 days. We usually aim for about 1/2 centimeter to a 1/4 inch off the stomach or the waist measurements every week. So big shout out to you, Gabrielle. And a big shout out to our community once again this last week, putting in the work. It's winter, but what you do now does matter coming into, I'm sure you've all heard it before, coming into the summer months. Okay, good few months to get ready now coming into the warmer months. So well done. Looking forward to sharing new client wins with the team this Friday and into next week's live as well. So want to give a big shout out to our community putting in the work. Today, we're going to cover, like I touched on, methods and strategies to help with your weight loss and dieting goals. These are strategies that I've used myself. I've used while I've been dieted down for photo shoots, while I've been dieted down for physique competitions. It's what we use with our clients. I'm going to give you a bit of education around why some clients or yourself may get hungry, because it's important. You got to understand that, like a lot of things we say, you got to find out, is it a cause or is it a symptom, right? So Are you super stressed out, which is throwing out your hormones, throwing out your stress levels, blood sugar, and that's why you're having these cravings? Or is it because you're low body fat? It's very important to find out what the cause is of your hunger, and then you can address it. It's because of your nutrition, what you're having in a day. Like, you got a weight loss goal, but the volume of what you're eating is quite low, or the fiber's low, which is impacting hunger. So you got to understand that there's going to be different ways to address hunger. It's not a one-way rule all. I'm going to give you some guidelines that you can follow. Very simply, though, we have a couple of hormones inside our bodies, which is going to be ghrelin and leptin. Now, these hormones are going to influence hunger levels and cravings and whatnot. You may have heard of leptin resistance. So if someone has too much body fat and their nutrition habits may not be the best, they might be leptin resistance, which stops them from feeling full. So we've got very simply, hormones, a couple of things in our body that say, hey, we're hungry, or hey, we're too full. And it's important that, we keep that in a good balance. Okay, we don't throw anything off. Some other reasons why you might have hunger and cravings, I made some notes here, is going to be due to your psychology. All right, so some clients or some people, when they start their weight loss goals, they, just going into a weight loss or a fat loss phase, they already expect it to be harder, or they have certain beliefs. So it's not just about the body, it's also making sure you have the right mindset to go into weight loss and fat loss goals. So you've got to make sure that psychology is an important factor, that you understand expectations. Personally, for myself, if I ever diet down, and the team know this, I don't actually get too hungry. So whenever I compete, or I jump on stage, or I'm getting to very low body fat levels, I actually don't get that hungry, but I do have high cravings. All right, like I've literally spent, when I was dieting down for my last competition, I was on the elliptical, and I was just imagining, I don't eat cheeseburgers or things like that often, but I was imagining a cheeseburger often while I was in my last few weeks of prep. So these things can happen as you're dieting down to low body fat levels, but you got to start with the mindset with your weight loss goals, and be careful of the stories you tell yourself when dieting down, because sometimes this could be what's holding you back. It's more so not the impact of the body, but more so your beliefs or limiting beliefs themselves. Eating patterns, right? Like fasting, intermittent fasting, eating 1 meal per day can have its benefits for some, but for many others, it may not be the best approach. Just due to lower frequency of meals, not being able to hit your macros properly, not getting enough fiber or volume in foods. So meal frequency is very important to respect, and everyone's a bit different. Nutrient deficiency, right? Like a lot of diets we see these days, we have clients come to us for weight loss goals, body composition, wanting to lose fat, build muscle. And when we review their nutrition plans, we find that we look at their daily nutrition, their daily existence, and the foods are either spiking the blood sugar too often, they're low in nutrients, low in fiber, not enough protein, and little tweaks around your daily nutrition with making sure you get enough protein, enough fiber, enough volume in your food, and enough nutrients can actually make a big difference with your hunger levels. And then we've also got like our stomach, right? So obviously we have a bit of a stretch reflex in the stomach. This is where things like Ozempic, which is very popular, but coming out with some downsides at the moment, delays gastric emptying. So how quickly you get rid of food in your stomach simply can also influence your cravings and hunger levels as well. And some supplements or medication can delay gastric emptying, which will keep you more full. So it's important to find out, like I touched on, why you're hungry when you're in a weight loss goal and address that reason. Now, sometimes you got to not be confused with the difference between mindless eating and actually being hungry. So for example, if you're watching a show on TV and you feel the need, you got to get up and grab something to eat, to watch the TV or the show, whatever you're doing, you got to be careful to be sure whether it's mindless eating, right? You're just doing it for the habit, or is it due to you actually being hungry? This is one that catches a lot of people off because it's something to do while they're watching their favorite show, but can be excess calories and really delay your weight loss goals. Now, a few things that you can do yourself is going to be, I'm going to give different strategies. I've made notes here on certain points that may help with your hunger levels. But very simply, one trick or tip we like to give to clients is increasing the volume of food. We often have clients start with us and they go, hey, I'm eating so much food, the most amount of food I've ever eaten, but I'm still losing weight. The funny part is the calories are actually less than what they've eaten, otherwise they wouldn't lose weight. You need to be in a calorie deficit. But the volume of food has increased. More protein to help satiety, more fiber. There's going to be things like more vegetables. But what happens is people think they're eating more, or clients think that they're eating more food, but the only thing that has increased is the volume of food. It's not necessarily the calories. So increasing volume of food is very important. We have with our ebook, what I'll do with the notes here is, or anyone who is interested in our ebook, we can send out. It's actually our client transformation guide. We give the hard copy to clients when they join up with us. We have a lot of our foods and prep guides in there for nutrition. Okay, over the last 10 years, we've always included nutrition with what we do because it influences the results. But we have a big list of foods that we recommend, voluminous foods that you can use. So if you're interested in that list, please DM this page. Okay, and our team, Jess is our VA, she'll reach out and send it over, or I will myself. So you have an idea of what foods to eat. But very simply, fish gathered, plucked, hunted. Okay, fish gathered, plucked, hunted. More whole foods from the earth itself will keep you fuller for longer to help with your dieting goals. If you're rushing off in the morning, you grab a coffee, it's got sugar in it. You stop at the service station, you grab a chocolate milk, things like this. They're high in calories, high in fats, high in sugars. There's not much volume to them, so it's very easy to eat, these foods on the run, but they're not going to keep you fuller for longer. There's a time and place for these kind of foods. Protein and healthy fats. Now that's when we have clients, when we look at their nutrition programs, we always pay attention to how much protein is coming into the day and how much healthy fats. Both of these macronutrients can help cravings. They keep you fuller. All right. Now, there's a difference if you have an avocado versus a tablespoon of olive oil for your healthy fat, or even if you have white fish versus steak, right? You're going to get more fullness from the steak versus white fish if it's the same gram for gram, and you will get the same, you'll get more fullness if you have things like avocado versus the olive oil, as in being fuller from the avocado. Okay, so macros aren't created equal in this. Whenever we look at the macros are created equal, but in terms of the volume of food, it's definitely not. So whenever we look at creating nutrition programs, we always ask that question, like, how will this food sit with our clients? Will it keep them fuller while they're dieting down? All right, so paying attention to how much protein is coming in per day. As a rough guide with most clients, we like to get around 2 to 3 grams per body weight of protein per day. If you're doing things like intermittent fasting, if you're intermittent fasting, it can be harder to hit your protein amount. So just make sure that you have a target for protein you want to hit each day. 2 to 3 grams is a great starting point, and then split that up between 3 to 5 meals per day. If you're someone who finds that when you're dieting down, lower calories, you get a lot of hunger and cravings, that'd be a good place to start. More frequency of meal can also help. Fiber is a big one too. So fiber, usually we aim for 25 to 30 grams roughly for 25 to 30 grams of fiber for ladies, and 30 to 35 grams for men is a good point to start with. If you find you struggle to get your fiber in with whole foods, you can get supplementation. There's a good product, psyllium husk is fine. There's gentle fiber at Woolworths you can get from the macro section. There's plenty of supplements with fiber. You want both insoluble and soluble fiber. Now, with fiber specifically, mainly, yes, we want it from whole foods. So you want to try to hit that target each day. If you're eating, say, 3 to 5 meals per day with 150 to 200 grams of vegetables per meal, you'll get there. But what we find these days is not everyone kind of hits that kind of point with their nutrition. So fiber is definitely one you want to pay attention to help satiety. It helps regulate blood sugar as well, which is great for weight loss goals. So make sure you pay attention to fiber. It's not just about calories and macros. If you really want the best results, you want to pay attention to that as well. And then meal frequency, as I touched on, right? Now, for some, as I could see a comment here from Amira, intermittent fasting helps, which is great. You got to find what works for you when it comes to helping hunger levels. And for some, I've seen with clients is the more often they ate, the hungrier they got. Whereas some others needed to eat more to not get as hungry. Okay, so it's really tailoring to find what works best for you. You need to start with the principles, and then from there you can make some adjustments over time. I'll tell you guys a story, but when I was dieting down for my last photo shoot, it was a last minute photo shoot. All my team were in shape. They were all competing and doing photo shoots anyways. And then because everyone was starting to get shape, we made a decision to do a team photo shoot. And I needed to drop some, because I wasn't dieting down for comps, so I needed to move some weight quickly. And what I did is I rang a good friend of mine. He's in Montreal. He is known for getting athletes and actors and actresses you see on TV into shape very, very quickly. Been a good friend and teacher of mine over the years. And we ran through a method, okay? And what we basically did is we came up with a plan. Now, this was all controlled, and I don't recommend it for everyone, but we came up with a plan on how to get in shape quickly for this photo shoot, to drop as much weight as I could. Now, one thing included in that plan, I did 3 days of fasting, complete fasting, with just water and electrolytes, and then had calories tapered down before that. It was about a 2 to 4 week kind of plan. But one thing we included in there was movement. So for those that are familiar, like with a Tabata workout, so I would train or move 4 times a day. Now, the load with strength training was low because I was fasting and there wasn't as much volume with the weights. But what I would actually do is do Tabata workouts. So I'd literally do body weight workouts just at whether I was at the gym, at home. I'd train for around 10 to 15 minutes 4 times a day. And I would do things like push-ups, jump squats, things like that, every kind of few hours. So I'd end up training like 4 times a day. And what that did, because I was moving throughout the day, I would get less hungry. I would have less cravings. All right. The act of just doing some exercise with body weight actually stopped me from being as hungry. So I was able to sustain a few days of fasting, essentially. So the act of moving itself can stop you having those cravings. So, Tabata workouts, you set up a timer, you get a few exercises, whether it's like jumping squats, push-ups, bodyweight stuff you do at home. That is a great way to delay cravings and hunger as well from a movement perspective, right? You want to start with your food, but from a movement perspective. Supplements as well. Now, with our supplements, for example, I've got a couple here. Okay, one thing, we've got our coffee, all right, Mind Performance Coffee. Now, one of the reasons I made this coffee was to help with dieting and cravings. Caffeine itself, coffee, can help with cravings, all right? Another thing we put into here in the ingredients is African mango powder. African mango powder, some good research out there, also helps with cravings while dieting with weight loss goals. So there are some supplements, caffeine one, coffee, African mango powder, that can actually aid cravings. So you can diet for longer and limit the cravings from causing you to plateau. Another brand I have here as well is by the Collagen Company. All right, so my wife, Alicia, started to get this. This is just a nighttime hot chocolate. It's got, magnesium and zinc and all that kind of stuff in there as well to help with sleep. However, it allows me, it's very low calories, it's got collagen protein, it's low calories, but allows me to get that taste of a bit of a sweeter taste, like a hot chocolate, in a way that's, not spiking my blood sugar or anything like that before bed. So using, whether it's sugar-free sources can help, whether it's, a product like this. So this is Collagen Dream by the Collagen Company. So I use that each night. I have 1 to 2 cups. That can help you cure that craving while also still sticking to your weight loss goals. So there's some alternatives with that as well. I'll put the link to the company at the bottom of this too, but some supplements that can aid the journey as well. So I'll have 2 coffees of the MPH coffee a day. All right, so I have 2 coffees there. I personally do intermittent fasting. I have it in the first half of the day to limit cravings. But then at night, I'll use this just as a to get that chocolate kind of taste, okay, without actually breaking the calorie bank. So supplements can be used too. So a few strategies there just to recap: volume of food, frequency, find out what actually works best for you, whether eating more helps your cravings or less. Making sure that you're getting adequate amount of protein, 2 to 3 grams per body weight for most. All right, making sure you got a good amount of healthy fats. Avocados are great to keep you fuller. Nuts can be dangerous for some, might go over the top. Nut butters can be great, okay, for healthy fats. Also, switching your meats, so red meat for some, as long as you can digest it well, will keep you fuller for longer. Steaks, lamb, pork, all right, if you can eat pork. And then also just making sure you got enough fiber. Fish gathered, plucked, hunted is what you want most of your diet to be. It will help stabilize your blood sugar, because if you're spiking your blood sugar too often, you're going to have more cravings, more hunger potential issues. So you want to stabilize that by eating those type of food groups. Okay, so a few tricks there, guys. And movement. Like I said, when I was fasting for 3 days, I couldn't eat, so I was just having water and electrolytes. But the movement throughout the day of those 4 kind of shorter training sessions helped keep the hunger at bay. So some movement, if you can possibly at times, can be beneficial as well. All right, so hopefully you guys got some value out of that. They're just some few ways that we help. Remember, you got to take it case by case, have a weight loss goal, make sure that you understand that, yes, you're going to be in a deficit. One thing just come to my mind, actually, that always usually helps too, is when we have clients come to us with body composition goals, which is what we always try to do, which is fat down, lean muscle up. At times, if possible, and the behaviors are there, we do what's called a maintenance finding phase. So what we do is we start calories lower, and then we increase calories week in, week out, until we find the point where the client will actually plateau with their fat loss and their weight loss goals, right? So it sounds counterproductive, but we start in a deficit, client loses, week 1 goes by, we review, we might increase food, week 2 goes by, we might increase food as long as we're still losing, until we find the point where that client plateaus at maintenance. The reason we do that is to make sure our metabolism is the best it can be, strengths as best as can be, we have as much lean muscle as possible, but also we're not too much in a deficit. I've seen ladies, for example, that are 40 kilos. We've come all the way up to 5,000 calories. The most we've ever had anyone on at My Performance Health is 13,000 calories, around there. And we've done this approach to get it up. Okay, and if we stayed too low, the hunger and the cravings was too high. So a maintenance finding phase can be great. And then all you do is you just find where you plateau, all right, with maintenance calories. Maintaining, remember, from my perspective, is where you do not lose body fat and you don't gain. It's maintenance. And then from there, you can come in a slight deficit. All right. Yes, the lower you are in a deficit, the higher the chance of cravings, fatigue, and hunger. So a maintenance finding phase can be a great way to actually get results. That's the most ideal way, is to build the calories up, find that point, and then slightly come down. Does it happen all the time? No, we've got to make sure the behaviors, we're nice and precise with tracking, all this kind of stuff. But that can be a great strategy to use too. All right. So guys, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you all. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'll put some links at the bottom as well with what I discussed with the supplements. And then if you have any other questions or topics, please let us know that you would like covered, and I'll jump on here. I'm jumping on every Monday anyways to give updates. I'm going to run through a topic each week. But if you have anything that you would like covered, please let us know. All right. If you need any help with your health and fitness goals, you can book in a call or just have a chat with us to see if we can help. We can run through options. And yeah, I'll see you all next week. Hope you have a productive week with your health and fitness goals.